Returning to her roots. Lately, the duplicitous Duchess is looking a lot more like the bit part actress hustling for jobs she used to be than she is a royal.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the King YouTube channel.
The truth of the matter is, regardless of whether or not she really tried, Meghan Markle never really successfully pulled off being a royal, did she? She was always dressed inappropriately, she was always doing the wrong thing. She was always doing too much to try to get attention for herself in the media. And now, according to one royal commentator, that royal luster has completely worn off, and now Meghan has gone back to just being a Z-list actress trying to get some work. While Meghan Markle may not have appreciated the workload that came with being a working royal, she sure did love that clothing allowance, didn't she? When she was a member of the royal family, Meghan tried a little harder, it seemed, sometimes. Of course, usually her outfits were still massive failures, but sometimes she looked okay. I remember she would wear shirt dresses occasionally that looked decent. But now, of course, Meghan Markle is free of the constraints of royal life, and she's also free of the constraints of having to dress appropriately. She's making her own decisions, and that's usually not good news. As reported by the Mail Online, writing in the latest edition of his Palace Confidential newsletter, Richard Eden suggests that in moving away from Britain, the Duchess of Sussex has turned her back on a life of genuine celebrity, and that success no longer lies within her own hands. He writes, while the Princess of Wales stole the show in a striking scarlet cape coat as she greeted South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol at the start of his state visit to Britain, Meghan was courting the cameras on a red carpet in Los Angeles. And I agree with Eden 100% on this. I mean, Meghan threw away a chance at genuine stardom. She threw away this amazing platform where she could have done so much good for the world. We know she doesn't care about doing good for the sake of doing good. She just wants the accolades that go along with it, but whatever. I mean, if the end result is that some people are helped, fine. Who cares what her motivation is? But see, it wasn't good enough for Meghan, because Meghan was never going to get top billing. She was always going to be beneath William and Catherine. She couldn't stand that, so that's why she threw away this amazing opportunity. Richard Eden went on to write, the contrast was striking. Members of the royal family walk down a red carpet when the other guests at a film premiere or theatrical first night have already taken their seats. But here was Meghan, who would have joined Catherine at the opulent state banquet at Buckingham Palace, instead walking down the carpet at the Power of Women event. And what a pathetic scene that was. Meghan Markle even had to be told by an assistant to move along because she was hogging too much time on the red carpet. This woman is so desperate for attention, and the ridiculous thing is that Eden is right. If she had just remained a working member of the royal family, she would have gotten all the attention she could possibly want, and perhaps even more. But no, she knew better. She convinced Harry that they could make it big in Hollywood. But just look at what has happened to them. They're not successful in Hollywood, they've just made themselves into global laughingstocks. The most pathetic thing is, Meghan Markle wasn't even on the invite list for that Power of Women gala. Instead, she was the +1 for somebody who works at WME. Meghan thought being a working member of the royal family was so hard, it was so much work, she simply couldn't do it. Well, now she's having to hustle left, right, and center just to find a little bit of work for herself to pay the bills. I don't see how this celebrity life could possibly be easier than life as a working member of the royal family. If Meghan had just stayed on, if she had just been able to put in a little work and not been so lazy, she could have had it made. Sure, she would have had to do some engagements like ribbon cutting and visiting hospital wards, but it would have been more than worth it in exchange for the benefits that she and Harry could have enjoyed. They wouldn't have had to worry about a thing, their bills would have been paid for, they would have lived in luxury. But no, they thought they knew better. Richard Eden went on to write, unaccompanied by Prince Harry, Meghan couldn't have looked less regal, just another celebrity waiting to be interviewed by a reporter for Variety magazine. She posed for photographers like the wannabe starlet she once was, before being rushed along impatiently by another guest. Her interview emphasized that success is no longer in her own hands. She talked about the unnamed exciting new projects that her television company, Archwell Productions, can't wait to announce. But if and when she does announce them will depend entirely on their paymasters at Netflix. It is quite an astounding fall from grace, isn't it? Richard Eden also reminds us that when Meghan and Harry were working royals, the stars would have been lining up to meet them, and now the A-listers want nothing to do with them. In fact, they're going out of their way to avoid Meghan and Harry due to their toxicity. Meghan and Harry are such idiots, I swear. I mean, if they wanted fame, if they wanted money, why didn't they just stay in the positions they were given? They could have had it all. And that's what I think is so fascinating, but also so baffling at the same time about these two. They made such a big deal about having to get away from the royal family that they were on to bigger and better things. And now we see them doing basically either one of two things. So either Meghan is trying to hustle to get some work for herself in Hollywood, or Harry is doing some fake royal work, like what we saw them do on Veterans Day and also some of the work they did in Canada. I mean, the two of them, if they really wanted to be these global humanitarians, they had the perfect platform. And that's what is just so frustrating about these two. Why did they have to throw it all away? Richard Eden basically writes the same thing. He says, has there been any week in which it was demonstrated more vividly what the Duke and Duchess of Sussex threw away when they quit royal duties in 2020 to find freedom and find a fortune? I do wonder what exactly went through their heads back in 2020. How did they convince themselves that celebrities in Hollywood were the real celebrities and the royals were second rate? I mean, come on now. The truth is, celebrities in Hollywood love to get close to royalty because they have something celebrities in Hollywood cannot buy. I think it's normal for people to covet what they cannot have, and that's why celebrities in Hollywood love the royals so much. There's just something about being born into this 1,000-year-old tradition that being a celebrity in Hollywood simply can't measure up to. It's not just about the money either. It's about class. It's about dignity. Catherine is a perfect example of this. Catherine just looks effortless in everything that she does. Everything about her just oozes class. Meghan, on the other hand, is the exact opposite. Everything about her oozes trash because that's exactly what she is. When we take a step back and look at what has happened to Meghan and Harry since they left the royal family, when we look at how they have fallen flat on their faces, honestly, it makes me believe that they didn't choose to leave. I do believe they were told in no uncertain terms that after the way, especially Meghan and to some extent Harry behaved, I'm talking about bullying the palace staff, I'm talking about creeping around in the palaces taking photos of a sleeping Charlotte. I believe the Queen realized what a threat they were to the monarchy, and so she had to kick him out. I don't think she had any other choice. Now, of course, the Queen allowed them to save face by making up a story that they were the ones who wanted to leave. But I do find it hard to believe that they willingly threw away everything they once had. Now, maybe they did, and if that's true, boy, they are even more foolish than I give them credit for. And you, what do you think of the trajectory of Meghan and Harry's career since they left the royal family? Please let me know your opinion below in the comments section. If you enjoyed our video today, don't hesitate to like and share it with anybody else who would appreciate it too. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.